Hi, brothers and sisters. I thought I could come on here and tell y'all a couple of my dreams because I can't sleep right now. So, okay, here's the first one. The first dream I had, I was in this I was in this house, and I didn't know that this house was on a truck. So I go downstairs to do like a check, make sure doors are locked and stuff like that before people go to sleep. Well, that's what I did in my dream. I went downstairs to go check to see if the doors and stuff were locked. And in this dream, I had a cat. I didn't even know I had a cat. I don't really have a cat, y'all. But in this dream, I had a cat. And somehow, some way, this cat got out the door. So I went after the cat. And when I stepped out there, I noticed I was outside and I was on some truck and the whole house was moving, being taken somewhere else. So I go and try to get the cat, and in the process of me trying to go get this cat, I start flying up. I was flying up and I was so scared, y'all. Like, I had no control over my body. I didn't even know what I was doing. Okay. And when I rose all the way up like that, I was pretty high. Like, I can see the full bridge and all that water that was up under that bridge. And I don't play with water. So I didn't think not one time to call on Jesus' name. That was so silly. I was just, you know, I think I was more afraid at that time because I didn't have no control. I was just flying, going up and down, you know, and I started to go up. And I'm like, no, I am not trying to go up. I'm trying to get down out of this sky. So I began to, just fly. I was just going. And I didn't think to call on Jesus' name not one time. So I'm shouting out to these people that I can see walking on the street. I seen this car, this policeman and this guy that was in the car. They were talking. They were standing beside the car talking. And I was like, help me. Somebody help me, please. And it was like they couldn't even hear me. So that's when I started to think, okay, I'm about to call on Jesus now. I was like, Jesus, please help me. Jesus, please help me. And as I started to call on his name, I started to go down a little bit and then I'll go back up again. So that was frustrating me, y'all. And I'll call on his name again and I went down a little more, got a little closer to the ground, and then I went back up again. So I just kept saying, help me, Jesus, help me. And when I landed, y'all, I landed in somebody's wedding. Like right in the middle of the aisle where the bride and the the bridesmaids walked down. And I felt like I shouldn't have been in these people's wedding. And I was trying to hurry up and get out of the way because I was thinking like, okay, I am all in their stuff, you know, because the wedding was getting ready to start. So I walk away, like I hurry up and I got out of the way. And I was trying to figure out like, where am I? I didn't know where I was, y'all. I didn't know anything. So I'm asking these people, like, where am I? And some of them were acting like they didn't see me. So I'm like, oh, y'all are rude too? So this man, I think it was this man had said to me, he said, you're in Moorhead. I was like, what is Moorhead? So then I know I didn't have no ID on me. I didn't have no money on me. Nothing. So I go walk into this diner. It was like it was an old school small diner. And I went and sat down thinking like, dang, I can't get nothing to drink. I can't buy nothing, and it was this lady. She was looking at me and she was dressed down like she had like this long coat on, but it was like a light. You know how people have long leather jackets that go down to the feet? Okay, well, she had something like that on. And she was dressed down like as if she was a homeless person. And I was looking at her and she was looking at me. And she got up and she came over there where I was sitting. And she said to me, she was like, don't tell nobody. And I said, don't tell nobody what? She said, don't tell nobody. I'm an angel. And I was like, okay. And then I was out of that dream. So I was like, okay, that's real weird. So then the other dream I had, like this dream tripped me out for real. I was sitting in this auditorium and it kind of felt like, one of them school assemblies where you got to go sit down and you just, it's packed. And somebody's on the stage talking. Okay, well, that's how it was. Like the area felt familiar to me. Like everything around there felt familiar. I don't know why, but it did. And it was this man talking on the stage. And as he was talking, like I must have just like stood up. Not like stood up, like stand up, but I raised up a little bit and I just happened to look around me. And I mean, it was people everywhere. And I'm thinking like, why am I in this assembly place? I didn't know what the man was talking about. At least that's what I felt. Like I didn't know. I was trying to figure out like, okay, this place feels familiar, but where am I? And like that was the end of that dream. Then this other dream I had, like I knew God had let me down in this place. I don't know where I was. I do not know where I was. But when he let me down gently to the ground, he started talking like I could hear his voice audibly. He told me, he said, you'll be working with a 13-year-old. He didn't tell me if it was a boy or a girl. So I'm trying to ask questions like, what will I be doing? Stuff like that. And he said, and I asked him, I said, is it going to be a boy or a girl? And he said, you will know them. You will know them when you see them. So I took him at his word. So I go walk into this place, y'all. I had no control over none of this. I didn't know what I was doing. But he said I would already know. So, so while I'm in there, I'm walking around. It felt like a real big warehouse pawn shop. Massive. This place was big. So I'm walking around there, I'm acting like I'm getting ready to buy something. And I wasn't getting ready to buy anything. I'm looking for this 13-year-old. He said, I'll know when I see him. So I go over there and this boy was at the counter, and they was asking this boy some questions. So I went over there. So I just happened to ask him. I was like, "Are you 13 years old?" And he said, "Yes." And in me, I already knew that was him. So this boy was, I guess she was asking him for a receipt, and he didn't have a receipt. So I dug in my pocket and I pulled out $20. I'm like, okay, where did this $20 come from? And I gave it to the lady. And she was, I guess he had been coming in there doing that. I don't know how long. But we started walking out of the store. And I began to talk to him. And I was telling him, I said, God don't like when you steal. You have to stop doing this. I said, because he don't like it. Then I was gone. It ended. So anyway, y'all, that's a couple of my dreams I had. And if any of y'all had any dreams like that, please let me know, because I do have a lot more of them. But I'm going to end it with this one. So you guys stay prayed up. I love you. Be blessed. And keep the faith. All right.